Hello guys, welcome to my first tutorial. I'm Martin from TradeSkillBasket.com, and I will do many tutorials for Cinema 4D and Adobe After Effects. Today we will start with Cinema, and as you can see already in my preview window, we will do today a basic text object with a cool material and with a cool lighting. So yeah, let's get it started. So this is how it will look. The reflection here is maybe not the important part, but this one. Yeah, just let's get it started. We go to File and New. So we have our Cinema 4D project here. So in case you opened your first time Cinema, I will show you really quick the important things. So in the middle you have the big preview window. This is the most important part, of course, because you want to see what you're working on at the moment. So at the top right bar you have 4 buttons. The first one is to move the camera from left to right and up and down. The second one is to zoom in and zoom out. And the third part is to rotate. So and the fourth button is to have an overview from each perspective. That means like this is the main perspective in 3D space. You can move around whatever you want, and the top view is also important if you work with modeling and stuff, but of course not only in modeling. So yeah, and then you have the front view and the right view. But later on I will show you why you need this, why it's so important to work with Cinema. Alright, so let's stick with the perspective mode. You can just click on the last button here to get back to the perspective mode. And so how we can create a text. There are 2 ways to create a text. I will show you both versions. So first, when you click at the top on the spline icon, you will have here some basic splines. Splines are just lines that you can draw by freehand and stuff. So just you have here some splines and that's all. But later on in my next tutorials, I will show you why you should use these one. And yeah, so when you click with the mouse button on it and hold your mouse button, you can go to text. So we click on it, you will see text, and yeah, that's the basic spline for the text, but it's still not 3D, so we need to make it in Z space. So how we want to do it, we go to the third button or third icon, and you see there HyperNURBS. When you click with the mouse button on it and hold your mouse button, it will drop down the menu with a lot of NURBS. So we will stick today with the ExtrudeNURBS. And you see nothing is happening because the ExtrudeNURB don't know what to extrude. So we click with the mouse button and hold the mouse button on the text and drag it to the ExtrudeNURBS. Alright, so you will get this arrow down. We leave the mouse button now, and bam, we have our text, and it's 3D. Perfect. So when we click now on ExtrudeNURBS, we have here some small options. The first one is the important part, the movement. That means how to extrude our text. So the first one is to left and right, but we will not use it, so we will leave it to 0. And the second one is to move it up and down, but we will also not use it, so just leave it also to 0. And the last one is the important thing, how big it should go into Z space. So the Z space is the blue arrow here, because it's 3D. 2D would be also only X and Y, red and green, and 3D is Z space. So we hire the Z space to 50 centimeters. We can just type it in and press enter, and there we go, it's now bigger. So yeah, that's basically the 3D text. So now we can add some more details by clicking on the ExtrudeNURBS, and when we go to caps, caps uh, are the parts which should have the text. That means, let's say the front part. All right, you see the start and the end. The start is the front part, the end is the back part. So when we want to change the front part, and let's say you choose none, then the front part just disappears, but you still have the back and the bottom or the middle part. So, but we don't want to use it. I mean, maybe you will use it in some projects or whatever, but I never used it. So what we will choose is fillet cap. What is happening now? You see at the edges, like at the edges, you see a bevel. So we can choose it again to cap. You see the difference. Now it's a really hard edge. When you choose fillet cap, you have a nice cool bevel. So you can here choose the steps. Before we see what's happening when we change the steps, we should go at the preview window to display and change to quick shading lines. You can also use this one, but it's important to see the lines. When you choose this now, you see all the lines, how the text is formed, right? So when we choose now, when we hire now the steps, you see it's creating lines in the bevel. So more lines, it's more rounding. So now we have a really round edge, and it's also looking cool. It gives some plastic feeling or plastic style. But now we will just use one step, and in the radius you can choose how big should be the edge, right? So we will stick today with 3 centimeters. That's 3. There you go. And yeah, that's the text. So now you want to change your actual text, right? So we will go to text, and here you have already the text editor. So we will type in here, let's say welcome, because it's my first tutorial. So just welcome to my first tutorial. And yeah, now it's, when you type it in and press enter, it will change. So here you can change the font. So I will stick with a Windows standard font, Verdana. It's perfect for the tutorial because everyone have it. So you don't need to search any fonts on any site. Just let me find my Verdana font. I have a lot of fonts, so there we go. So here's Verdana. We click on it, and it's automatically changed. Now, yeah, you can here, of course, choose if it should be bold or whatever. We will just stick with the standard one. And here you can align the center point of the text. So left, middle, and right. You know it maybe from Office Word or whatever. So we will stick with middle. It's easier to have control about the text when it's in the middle of everything. All right. So yeah, the rest of these things are not important for now. So we have our text, and we are ready to color it, basically. So yeah, let me show you now the second way to create a text. It's I use it every time. It's it's easier, and I will explain you why you should use this one for basic animations. So when you click on More Graph, you will have a lot of options. We will just use More Text, and when you click it, bam, you have it here. It's already in 3D space, and you have the same options like in ExtrudeNURBS. When you click on one object, then you will here see depth. So when you change this, it will go into Z space. Perfect. We will choose, like in ExtrudeNURBS, 50 centimeters, and change the text to welcome. So there we go. we will change the font again to Verdana. There we go, Verdana. And yeah, that's it. Then we need to align it again to the middle. And so we are ready. Oh, no, right. Sorry. We need to edit the caps again. So we choose the start cap, fillet cap, and choose the radius to 3 centimeters. So we are ready to color our text. All right. So maybe like when you want to see the picture rendered. So that means this is now the editor preview. So you see everything in a draft mode. When we look at the top bar, you have the render view. So when you click this, you will have the end picture, the rendered picture, how it looks at the end. So at the moment it just looks boring. It's a 3D text. So yeah, let's model it now, and we are ready to go. So new material. You click on create new material. When you click at the bottom of the preview with a double click, you can change the name. So let's name this main color. So how to like when you double click it now, it will come up the material editor, and you have a lot of options here how to change the material. So I would say we change the color to our really dark one. Let's say dark gray. Okay, we choose OK, and we change the we disable the specular. We close the window, and we drag and drop this material to our mode text. So you just click the mouse button, hold the mouse button, put it on the mode text, and bam, you have already a black or dark gray text. When you click no render, it's dark gray, perfect. So the cool thing in Cinema is that you can color a text in 3 or 4 different colors. That means you can color the front, the edge, the bevel, the back, and the middle part. So how you can do it? Let's say we will stick with the dark part now, and we want to color the edges. Alright, so we make a new material. We click again, double click in the text field, and we just name it bevel. Let's leave it like it is now. We drag it on the text, and now, oh, it's again white. So why is it white? Because it's on the top of the black material in our mode text. So when you click with the mouse on the white material on the mode text, we have here a selection. There are 3 selections. When you type in C1, it will color only the front. When you type in R1, it will color only the edges. You see already here, only the edges are colored. When you choose C2, we will have a white background, like the back of the text, it's white. And when you leave it like it is, you will have only a white one again. So we will stick with R1 because we want to model or the color to apply on the bevel. So now we have a white border and a black text or a dark gray text. So let's say we want to give it more details. So now when we render it, it's already cool. We have a dark gray material and the white edges. Perfect. So what we can do now, we go to the main color and go to diffusion. Diffusion means how a light should affect the material. So when we click on it, and you will you will not see any changes because you need to apply a texture on it. So we click on the small left play button, and you will have a new drop down menu, and we will choose this time noise. So we click on noise, and we have a noise on the material. So of course it's yeah, maybe you like it, but I will go more less noisy. So how we can change the noise? We will click on the noise, and you have here the colors and the seed. So if you change the seed, it'll just randomly change the seeds. We will stick now with the noise. So when you click on the noise, you will have here some presets. You can do it manually. You have here all the options for it, but we will just stick with a preset, and I will choose Luca. So you see already here, it's looking a little bit organic, and for me, it's now too much contrast. Like there's too much of it. I can just change the global scale to, let's say, 300%, and you will have already a closer look to the noise, and you see a really nice organic look. So you can change here also the contrast and stuff, but like here, no, it's getting darker, and the contrast is just getting changed. But let's stick like now for 0, and let's close it. So when we render now, we have a really nice look. It's not too much, it's not too boring, it's looking cool. So now we have the basic, like the most important part in everything that you do is the light. So at the moment we have no lights, and it's just the light is just at the front, and you see everything what's on the front. So let's add a light to it. How we want to do it? We can just drag or click the last icon here at the top bar, and bam, you have a light. When you click now render, you see, alright, something changed. So the text is now interacting with the light. When we move the light around, so here you have 3 options to move an object. The first one is to move, the second one is to scale, and the third one is to rotate something. We will just move it now around in the front, and yeah, it's the same thing again. So when we move it up and a little bit back, like this. Oh, sorry. Like this. You see, alright, the light is coming now from the top and not affecting the front. Alright. So, now we need to get closer to the material. First thing is, we have added the noise, and when you look at the text now, it's projecting, like it's not looking good because it's rounding up the texture. You see it here. So what we can do is we can click on the material on our mode text, the black material, and the projection is UVW mapping at the moment. So you can change the projection, how the texture should apply on the text. So when we choose, for example, spherical, it's good when you have just a ball on it, or you just want to texture a ball. Cylindrical, you see the texture is all the time changing. What we will do is we change it to cubic, and here, to avoid hard edges like you see there, you just click on seamless. Now you have a really nice, good looking texture on the text. We click render, and we see already here in the back, it's looking quite cool. The other thing is, we have now a light, but the texture don't know how to react to the light. So at the moment it's just basic lightning, and you see here it's going it have a fall off, so it's going away from the light, and that's it. So what we can do is we go again to the main color and go to the specular. And the specular, when you turn it off, you see already a white point. So a specular says the light how I should be lightening the material. So, for example, plastic have a really high specular. So let's say you want to have a plastic, you just push the height up, and you have here already a really high specular. So when we just close it and render it, you see the light is changing, and the fall off changed also. So what we can do now is we will change this one, the main color, to metal. So it's a really light but really wide lightning. And we will just play around a little bit with the settings here, right? So we can lower the height a little bit, and the fall off, maybe just play around. I will stick with a really metallic look. So when we choose now render, it's okay. We have some small light specular. So we should do the same with the bevel. Let's go to the bevel, and let's change the color to also to a dark gray color. Now we go to the specular, and we leave it at plastic, and we crank up the high, and the fall off we go to -%. So it will go, you see in the middle it's a really highlight, and it have a nice fall off. So we close it, we will render it, and you see already here our edges start to looking pretty good. What we can do also is to add to the bevel a reflection. So it will also reflect everything what is in the area of the text. So also the light. So let's turn on reflection. When we click now render, it starts to interacting with the text and the light. So for now, when we look at the lights, we can just adjust the lights so that we have a nice, like here, a nice bevel with a nice lightning. So we can, what we will do now is duplicate the light, because we want to have more of these small white highlights on the text. So we can duplicate it just with Control C and V. So we have just a copy paste part, and just move the second light to the left, and we click again Control C and V, and we go to the left, to the right side. Now we click render, and you see already we have a lot more highlights on the text. And maybe we should, just to have every letter in with a highlight, we should move the right light more to the right, so the E will get more light, like this. It's perfect. We can now duplicate the lights. Like when you hold Control and select each light and press then Control C and V, and we move the lights down, we will have a really nice looking edge with a like metallic look. So for now, for me, it's too much. So we can just select our lights with Shift. So you click the first light, press Shift, and select the last light. We can go here into intensity and lower it to, let's say, 50%. When you look now, it's getting a little bit, the intensity is now lowered and it's looking quite good now. So the problem is now we don't see our back. When we render it now, we don't see that good our back, like our middle part. What we do is we create a new light and push the light back a little bit up. Look again. There we go. We have now more light in the back. Perfect. The front is now also only black. We want to have it a little bit with a light. So we create a new light and put it to the front. When we look now, we have the front is now also you see all visible. So yeah, you can just play around now. We can like lower it a little bit, the intensity, and yeah, that's too. Yeah, like around 60%, I think it's good. So you have a little bit details in the front, a highlight on the edge, and you see also the back, so it's 3D. And yeah, that's the basic thing about text. So you can also, of course, change the specular of the bevel again, just to play around with it. So we can just lower the height maybe. Sorry, wrong button. Look again. Okay, it's looking good. You can maybe delete some lights, like I don't want to have, let's say, the right part and a top part, the left part, and just delete it with the delete key. So you have a more random thing. So when you want to have some glassy metallic look, you need reflections, and we can do it pretty easy. So what we can do now is, since we have on the bevel already a reflection, we do the same on the main color, but we will not have the hard reflection, just a really light, easy reflection. So we go to the material, double click on it, go to reflection. So you see already it's reflecting everything. But we don't want to have this reflection because it's too hard. So we change the brightness to 50%, and we can choose here texture, so it will affect the reflection. We can just we will just stick now with Fresnel and change this to 50% also, and we will look. Nothing special happened. Why? Because it's not seeing something to reflect. So what we can do is just create something to reflect. So we can do it just, it's just easy. We could just go to the basic shapes, to the primitives, and you choose plane. And now we have already, you see it here, we have a plane. Now we need to adjust the size of it. So you click on you have here at the, like, you can click on the plane and just edit this width and high sizes. So we just choose it and we just make it a little bit bigger than the text. Then we move it a little bit forward in front of the text. Now we will rotate it to, like, we choose the rotate tool, and we will just rotate it to reflect it really nice. So we rotate it into this axis, right? It's the x-axis, I think. So yeah, you can just move it around here. You will have here the details how much you rotate it. When you hold down Shift, you will have 10 steps. So it means like 40, 50, 60, 70. We will stick with, let's say, 60, right? So we have a small, it's not like 90 degrees. It's looking cool, and it's will have a fall off. So now we can just go here on the left side, look, and we move it a little bit up. So now we have this edge. When you look at the lines, around the middle of the text. So when you go now to the front camera, you have a problem. You have the plane in front of the text, you don't see it anymore. When you now render, you just see nothing. So to avoid that, we just click on the plane, right click, and go, and then you will have a new menu. I will explain in later tutorials what these all things are, but at the moment we just stick to Cinema 4D text, and we go to Compositing, and we will click it, and you will have here some new options. And when you click, when you see it here, you can tell Cinema to have the actual object, but let's say it's not seen by the camera. So you turn it off, and when you hit render now, you see the text. And you see already some cool reflecting white plane. So it's now some glassy look. And that's it. It's pretty easy to do. So you have a lot of options here in the compositing tag. You can say it's not seen by reflections. It's receiving no shadows, nothing. So it's pretty good, and I work a lot with it. So yeah, let's look now. Like we have now in the editor view still the plane, and we don't see our text, so we can't edit. It's pretty easy. So what we do is when we go to the plane panel, you have here two small buttons, or two rings, and when you click on the first one, you'll see a green light, and then when you click again, you see a red light. And now it's still there, but it's not seen in the editor. So when you click now edit render, you see it's still there. It's still, you still see it. So what we can do now is we make a new material and call this plane. Or no, yeah, let's call it plane. So we just turn off the specular and the color and turn on luminance. Luminance means it's shining. It's acting like a light, but not now. Like I will show you in the next tutorials what luminance is the actual feature. So we turn on now luminance, so it's completely white. It's no color. It's nothing else. It's just white and shiny. We apply this to the plane, and now we have a really nice white reflection. If you want to lower the reflection, you just go to your main color, go to reflection, and lower it again to 30%, and the Fresnel also. 30. There we go. And now you see a little bit less reflection. Maybe not now, but we can change this to, let's say, 10%. Click render, and you see it's already lowered the amount of reflection. So yeah, that's it. You can just play around with the lighting, with everything. When you change the camera position, it's already changing the lighting, because you see the text now from a different view, position. So yeah, that's it basically. Maybe we want to add some reflection on the bottom. So it's pretty easy. You just go to the primitives and do again, or create again a plane, and you just make it a lot, like pretty big. So you can, as I said already, you can change the size of it here, or you have at the edge a small orange button, and you can just drag it with your mouse, right? So let's say we make this one, let's say 3000, and the height also 3000. So now you see the plane is a little bit too, it's like it's going into the text. So you see at the C, it's cutting it off. So you just lower the plane a little bit. So in this case, since you can't see exactly where it is, because we have the perspective mode, we can change now to a different mode, to a different view. And let's say we go to the front view. Let's click on it. And when we zoom in, we see our plane here. So it's just one line, and we can tell it just it's just easier to apply a position. So it means we go here now, so it's not affecting our text, but it's really close to the text, like this. And we go now back to our perspective mode. It's now perfectly positioned under our text. Now, when we click render, you see the plane is affected by the light, but it's not reflecting anything. Why? Because it's not have the material. So you go make a new material, change the color to black, and apply the reflection. And maybe turn off the specular. So we have the reflection here, and let's turn it, lower it to 50%. We name this, sorry, we double click on the name, and we name this floor. Now we drag and drop this on our plane, and when we go now here and choose render, bam, you have a reflecting text. The bad thing is now the plane is seeing our other plane that we already have here, and it's reflecting it too. So how we can do it? We can just go to our compositing tag of the plane, and you will see here a tab that is called exclusion. So this means this object should, let's say, not be seen by another object. So we don't want to have the white plane seen by the black plane. So we just drag and drop this one in the exclusion list, the black plane, per drag and drop into the list. When you hit now render, you still have the reflection, but you don't have it on the plane, on the floor plane. So if you want to give the text more detail, when you want to make a picture from a different angle like this, you can do one thing, and I used it also a lot. When you just duplicate the text once, and you go into the new text and delete the cap. So not delete, just make a normal cap, and then you can move the new text a little bit to the front. So you will see here that the new text is now more in the front, and the bevels are still there. So you have like a little bit more detail in it, and it looks also pretty nice. Maybe not at this texture now because it's a really low light setup, but for different projects it's a good tip for you guys. So yeah. And now we need to render it anyhow out. So we go to our render settings, and the first thing that you see is the output. That means you can here adjust the size of it. So since you want, like, you can just click on the first button here, and you have here different sizes. Since I do mainly animation stuff, so video, we go to film and video. We just go to HDTV. We are high definition, so it's changed to 1080p. Here you have the resolution, like the pixel, the depth, and here in the frame rate, I choose every time 30. But now, since it's just a picture, we don't need to change it. So we have changed the size. What we can do also is we go to save, and here you can change the format. Means if you want to have it in JPEG or in whatever you want. So let's say we want to have it in JPEG. We change the file where it's have to be at the end. So where to save it. So let's just stick to the desktop. You type in here welcome, save it, and that's it. When you hit now the middle button, render, it's rendering the picture on your desktop. And that's it. We have it ready, and you can do whatever you want. If you want now to have this one in an alpha channel, that means you want only have the text. You need to delete the reflection, of course, because you will have this plane here also in the alpha channel. So if you delete the plane now, so you don't have a reflection, but you can do the reflection, of course, in Photoshop or After Effects, whatever you want. So how we can do it? Of course, you need firstly to change the format to our alpha channel supported format. So we can stick with PNG or with Photoshop layer. So let's say we want to save the PNG, and we can here change the alpha channel, and we stick with alpha channel and straight alpha, and that's it. Now you have an alpha channel, and you will have only the text, so we can change the background and whatever you want. So when we hit now render, it's not seen now, but you have an alpha here, and there we go. You have an alpha channel, so you have only the 3D text. So that's it. In the next tutorial, I will show you how to play around with the cameras. And yeah, that's it. See you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.